الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحابته ومن استنى بسنته واهتدى بهديه إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Tonight inshallah we're going to continue commenting on Kitab Al-Bay', chapter of sale, or generally could be titled as the section of transactions. And the point where we stopped is where the author rahimahullah is talking about the things that are not permissible to, or the transactions, say transactions that are not going to be permissible. And for the things that are permissible, we say that this is the default ruling. So then if a person wants to know that this transaction is halal or haram, the default ruling is what? That it is halal. لأن Allah Ta'ala says وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ. Allah makes halal al-bay'. So any bay', the default ruling is that it's going to be halal, permissible until otherwise stated, until that there is an evidence to specify that sale transaction is haram. And then the author rahimahullah provided to us a rule by which we can know that this is good, that thing is allowed to be sold. So what is the rule? That it has to be what? It must be owned by the seller, or he has permissibility to sell it, to act on behalf of the owner, or that product has intended benefit, نفع مباح, that it has نفع مباح, يكون نفع مباحا. So hence, is selling insects allowed? Can you sell scorpions? If there's an intended use. But can you sell dogs? They are beneficial. So they don't, first of all, the Prophet ﷺ prohibited, and the reason that he ﷺ prohibited, although that they have benefit, but their benefit is not permissible. Like if someone uses a dog for a permissible thing, to protect his shepherd, his sheep, or for hunting, how can he possess a dog? How can he acquire a dog? Either by a gift, or that he takes from the street, he hunts it, for example, from the street, then he raises it up. The thing is that he can't take it in an exchange. So then the author rahimahullah pointed to the things that are not permissible for a person to sell. He says that he said that لا يجوز بيع ما ليس بمملوك لبائعه إلا بإذن مالكه. That, as we talked about, that he cannot sell things which are not owned by the owner, yani other than the owner, he cannot sell it, or if he is not the owner, that there is a permissible reason that jurisprudentially would allow him to sell it. And also he says أو ولاية عليه, like a custodian. If he is a custodian of a child, then he is going to be what? He is given permissibility to sell it on behalf of the child. Then can he sell it to himself? Why?
Because the owner isn't benefiting if he sells it to himself.
He might not sell it as the same price if he sells it to someone else, right? So we would say that it is permissible if that person is going to be trustworthy. Otherwise, he can't, what we say, that to be responsible for يتولى طرفي العقد, يعني he is going to be responsible for both parties of the contract. طيب. He says ولا بيع ما لا نفع فيه, and we talked about this, that it does not have an intended benefit. طيب. Then he says, وَلَا مَا نَفْعُهُ مُحَرَّمٌ كَالْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْتَةِ. I think we talked about this. That its benefit is muharrama, is impermissible or prohibited. Because it might be beneficial, but the benefit is what? Prohibited. So, al-khamr is beneficial, right? But its benefit is what? Prohibited. Gambling is beneficial, but its benefit is what? Prohibited. But هذا Allah Ta'ala says, يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر من نفعهما. So Allah affirms that they have benefit, but their benefit is cancelled, what we usually say. منفعة ملغاة, مصلحة ملغاة. طيب, then he says رحمه الله ولا بيع معدوم. Now the author رحمه الله is talking about the types of bay' which we call risky transactions. غرر, بيوع الغرر, risky or speculative transactions. These are three types, as the author رحمه الله mentioned. بيع المعدوم, things that they don't exist, or to be majhul, not known, or to be that they are not present. When you sell them, they are not present. And then he also mentioned that which you cannot give or supply. معجوز عن تسليمه. Also, anything that is usurped, مغصوب, قال إلا لغاصبه. Then he mentioned also بيع غير معين, that you sell something that is not specified. So then now we're talking about 6 types of transactions that they are all called risky or غرر. هذه بيوع غرر. Because what was the general title that we now, يعني for any transaction to be prohibited, it's going to be prohibited for one of 3 reasons. Either to be غرر, or to be غرر يعني speculative, risky, or to be usurious, or to be unjust, unfair. Any transaction prohibited in Islam, you could trace it back to one of these 3 reasons. Now he's talking about al-gharar, بيوع الغرر. You call them بيوع الغرر. The author رحمه الله begin by saying بيع المعدوم. بيع المعدوم يعني that which does not exist. Then he gave examples. He says كالذي تحمل أمته أو شجرته. يعني if he says that I will sell you that which my sheep carries. يعني the child of my sheep. واضح? Or he says أو شجرته. If he says that I will sell you the fruits of my tree, which they don't exist yet. So if they have a contract on something that does not exist, this is what? Speculative, risky. هذا غرض لا يجوز. نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن هذا. It is also reported في الصحيحين talking about بيع حبل الحبلة. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم prohibited a type of a transaction that the people of Quraysh used to have, which is that they will sell the habal of habala. يعني now when the sheep got pregnant, or when the she camel gets pregnant, he says that I will sell you the child of my she camel. They used to do it, meaning that they have transactions for about 2 years. They used to do it. The Prophet ﷺ نهى عن حبل الحبلة في الصحيحين, حديث عبد الله بن عمر. Also, the Prophet ﷺ prohibited bay' as-sinin. Bay' as-sinin, that they used to sell the fruits of years. I will sell you the fruits of that year and that year and year, which they don't exist yet. هذا كله لا يجوز. The reason is because this is what? غرر. هذا بيع الغرر. Risky, speculative. So then, this is the first type of بيوع الغرر, which is بيع المعدوم, selling that which does not exist. The second type is المجهول. المجهول يعني that which you don't know. Like if he said كالحمل والغائب الذي لم يوصف ولم تتقدم رؤيته. كالحمل, like if he says, I will sell you the child of my sheep, of my she camel, of my cow. I will sell you the eggs while they are not yet delivered. I will sell you the eggs. هذا مجهول, because I don't know it. They might be, she might give birth, she might not, she might die, the child might die, it might not be the way that I want. So this is going to be gharar, speculative, risky. So in order to guard against any possibility of dispute, Sharia prohibited such transactions, because this is possible to lead to disputes, to have disputes. So then this is, he says, كالحمل والغائب الذي لم يوصف ولم تتقدم رؤيته. الغائب يعني there is no car, but he say يعني there is no car in the present, but he says, I will sell you a car, I have it in the house, without describing it, or that he saw it before, that the buyer saw it before. This is هذا لا يجوز. سمى عند العلماء بيع الغائب. Okay? هذا لا يجوز. But when it's going to be allowable, if it is described or it has been seen before. So then, can you sell a car by saying, I will sell you the car in my house, while the buyer never saw the car? Is that going to be allowed? No, لا يجوز. But if you say, if you go and describe it to him, it has this model, this color, if it has bent, you describe it, and you describe everything that is related to affecting the price. If this is the case, الصحيح, the preponderant opinion عند العلماء, that it's gonna be allowed. يسمى بيع الموصوف. Okay? هذا يسمى بيع الموصوف. But look, we're talking about بيع الموصوف, what? المعين. We have two ways. عندنا بيع الموصوف في الذمة وعندنا بيع الموصوف المعين. مثلا, are you with me? We have two types of descriptions. Describing a specific car or describing a car. يعني مثلا, you have 10 cars. What's your name? مثلا محمود. You have 10 cars. I come to you, I say to you, I want to buy a car. Then we have two possibilities. Either that you say to me, I have a car that has this description and such and such and such, to the extent that you describe it in a way that is going to affect the price. Okay? This is called بيع موصوف معين, because you specify the car. Another way of describing is that you describe the characteristics of a car without specification. So without telling me that there is a specified car, you say that I will sell you with these categories, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these two cars. Then I say to you, okay, I need any car of these 10 cars that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you go ahead and describe it to me, then you bring it to me, then we finalize the contract. So, okay, so we have two types. بيع الموصوف المعين this is allowed. Okay? We have another bay', which is the description. This is what we call bay'ul unmudaj, bay'ul model. I give you a model, like I show you a model. Okay? هذا, the ulama rahimahullah differed regarding this type. The second one. يعني you don't specify a car of these 10 cars, but you specify the description of these 10 cars. The ulama rahimahullah differed regarding this type of saying. And the preponderant opinion is that if he describes it in a way that is affecting the price, then we would say that the sale is going to be okay, allowed, with the seller, with the buyer given the choice to return. واضح? So then, two types. If he says, I need this description of car, then he say, I have that description. Then he goes to describe a specific car, that model, الرقم المرجعي, يعني like the series number. The series number, he gives the series number exactly. So he goes to a specific car, like giving him a picture of it, videoing it, and so on and so forth. This is called what? بيع موصوف معين. Okay, the sale of a specified description, or the sale of a specific, specified description. Let's call it this way. بيع موصوف معين. This is going to be what? Permissible. يجوز هذا. Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says that it's going to be permissible, but it's up to the buyer. He gives him خيار, ما يسمى بالخيار. والصحيح يعني he's saying that we're going to finalize the contract, but the seller is given the choice. The buyer is given the choice. Yani if he sees it, even after it was described to him, then he say, well, I changed my mind. It's completely up to him. Yani the seller must accept it being returned. While al-qawl al-sahih, if he describes it exactly the way that it should be described, ما له وقع في الثمن, يعني in the way that it's going to affect the price, then it's given the same, then he does not have a choice. If he wants to make iqala, he will make iqala. But if the seller wants to make iqala, he can make it. Lakin to say that he is given the choice, why? It's been described for him, and it is the way that it has been described. هل هذا واضح? Yes, if it is given to him, not meeting the description, then he has the choice, which is called خيار الخلف بالصفة. خيار, he's given the choice, whether that he will continue or he will return it. Or some of the ulama, they say that he can keep it and take the difference. واضح? The second choice, the second one, we would say, or the second way, which is the sale of a described but it's not specified, unspecified description, بيع على موصوف في الذمة. هذا بيع على موصوف في الذمة. We would say that this is not going to be that it's going to be okay with the condition of what? Giving the buyer the choice. If he wants to proceed, he can proceed. If he does not want, then he won't proceed. He is given the choice. He says رحمه الله والغائب الذي لم يوصف ولم تتقدم رؤيته. Or if he sees it before, يعني he saw the car. You have 10 cars. Then he say to you, you remember that pickup the black one, the moral of that, this is what I want. Okay? هذا يسمى تقدم الرؤية. This is going to be enough. You don't need to describe it to say it's such and such and such وهكذا. واضح؟ Except if it has a deficiency, you need to tell him. If it has a deficiency, you need to tell him. If you don't tell him, and there's a problem that happened, then he has the choice. The buyer has the choice, which what we call khiyar. We call it khiyar al-aib, the choice of deficiency. Yeah, the buyer has the choice of returning it to you, returning it back to you, or he will keep it and he will take the difference. According to some ulama, they say no. If you keep it, you won't take the difference. If you keep it, there is no difference. If you return it, he will return you money. يسمى خيار البيع. طيب, here is a مسألة. What do you think of a seller who says أبيعك وأشترط البراءة من كل عيب مجهول. I will sell the car for you, but I am free from any deficiency in the car. Okay, it's completely up to you, but I am free. If something happens, if you find problems, I have no responsibility. So the buyer, in his full rationality, decides to go with the deal. And he says, you can now examine it, look everything. If you find anything later on, I'm not responsible. Do you agree? He says, agree. I agree. Then when he bought it, just the following day, he is ignited on, it does not work. Is he responsible or not? ما رأيك؟
No, he's not responsible.
ليش؟
Sorry?
Why? لماذا؟
Because he told you the deficiency, the rests up on the buyer, so he agreed with that.
But the deficiency was with you. What was when it was in your ownership. I didn't buy the car in a.
You mean that the seller knows that
لا, he does not know.
the seller?
يعني whether that he knows or not. But he says to you from the beginning, I am free from any problem that you'll find in the car or in the house or in the cell phone or in the laptop or in the book, whatever. I will sell you. I am free from any problem. You can look at it now, but once we finish the contract, you can't return it.
Of course, the person, the buyer,
He took it to the mechanic. He examined it. He gave it okay. But then the following day, something happened.
I think it is sold. So
So he's free. The seller is sold. The seller is free. أي نعم هذا يقوله. Okay, this is what some ulama رحمه الله say. He said ولو باعه واشترط البراءة من كل عيب مجهول برئ. يقولون كذا. If he makes a condition, if he sells him the car or a horse or a house or a laptop or whatever, if he sells him and he says that I am free from any responsibility that you find, you can look at it now, you can take it to the mechanic, you can go and ask experts, but the moment that we finish, you can't return it. I'm free. هذا اللي يقوله بعض العلماء. هذا مذهب الحنفية. The other opinion, which is مذهب مالك رحمه الله, he says وإن اشترط هو مذهب الحنابلة. هذا المذهب عندنا. وإن باعه واشترط البراءة من كل عيب مجهول لم يبرأ. If he sells him with the condition that he is free from any responsibility, from any deficiency that he's going to discover later on, they say that he is going to be responsible. He can't be free. وهذا قوله الصحيح. واضح? If you sell him, tell him that I don't have that I don't know, it might have problems, but I don't know. We're not talking about a person who is lying. You say, I don't know. But if anything happens, if you find anything after finalizing the contract, I'm not free. الصحيح that he is going to be responsible. Why is that, ya ikhwani? Because the aqd, the contract, was what? Based on what? That I need the commodity to be what? Intact, in a good shape. So even if he says اشترط البراءة من كل عيب مجهول, we would say that it is still, the contract is not applicable. The contract is not applicable. ولا نقول المسلمون على شروطهم, لأنه صلى الله عليه وسلم says, يعني if we say that this is from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, or it's stated from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, إلا شرطا حرم حلال أو أحل حرام. And this is going to be considered haram, because he's losing his money. He's buying the car to benefit from it, either that he will sell it to be a trader, or he will use it. And in both cases, he's losing. And definitely the intention of the contract is what? What does he want from the contract? He wants a broken car or a workable car? Which one? He wants a workable car. He wants a workable car. A readable book, a usable cell phone. Why I buy it, then I go to the mechanic again. واضح؟ ولهذا الصحيح أنه if the seller says, I will sell you a commodity with the condition that I am free from any responsibility of any deficiency, after finalizing the contract, we would say that he is not exonerated. He is still responsible. هذا القول الصحيح. Then the author رحمه الله says, ولا معجوز عن تسليمه كالآبق والشاة. He said that, and the third one now of بيوع الغرر, the risky, speculative sales, is that if he cannot supply anything, that he cannot sell that which he cannot supply, even if he owns. Like what he said, كالآبق. الآبق, like a slave who is a fugitive, who fled. You can't sell him because you can't catch him. You can't catch him. He says, والشارد. الشارد, like an animal that is fleeing, like a horse fled. Then you say, okay, if you, I will sell it to you. Or الطير في الهواء, or bird in the sky. Like, let's suppose that a person has birds, pets, like a puppet. A day it fled, it flew. Hey, come, it didn't return. Then he said, okay, I will sell it to you. Do you buy it? He said, even if you agree, we would say that the contract is not going to be valid. Why? لأنه لا يستطيع تسليمه. He can't supply it for you. He can't give it to you. He says, والسمك في الماء, selling you a fish in water, in the sea. So you say, I will sell you these, and these are his. But let's suppose that one of them, went in the sea or in the lake, chasing it all the day. Then when he got tired, you say, I will sell it. He can't do that, because you can't supply it. When it's the time of exchange, you can't supply it. طيب, based on what the author رحمه الله says, الطير في الهواء, if it returns again, it goes into, these birds fly, then they return to the same place. Or fish in a pool, like what we now. This is the way that we buy fishes now. You go, you find them inside a pool or a small pool, right? And then they sell it. So if this is the case, then we can sell them. If you have birds, you have ولهذا يقول الفقهاء والطيور تعود إلى أوكارها. If they return to their places, then you can sell them. The thing is that you can't sell that which you cannot supply. If you can supply, then you can sell. What's the causal effect? ما العلة? Because of غرر. Risky. It's risky. Speculative. It's either to be speculative or risky. Too risky. You sell something which you don't own, or you sell something which you cannot supply, or you sell something which is unknown, you sell something which is non-existent. All these are risky transactions. ولهذا يا إخواني, what we're trying to, الشريعة does not accept fully and completely that the economic actor, according to the classical understanding of economics, that the economical act, that the economic actor, they call him rational. The agent, they call it the agent or the economic actor, and according to the government calculations, they call us units. They call us economic units. So the economic actor is not fully rational. There are multiple reasons that will make the economic actor, the person, buy a commodity or sell a commodity. Not sell a commodity or not buy a commodity. Not all of them to be rational. Like a person who is, buying cigarettes. Is that person rational? He's not rational. Is a person gambling? Is that person rational? He's not rational. Is a prostitute selling her body, the service of her body, is that rational? Let alone now religious restrictions or teachings وما أشبه هذا. Is she rational the way that she's doing it? She's not rational. If you scrutinize the premises, the way that she behaves, you won't consider her to be rational. She's risking her life, she's risking her reputation, she's risking her health, she's risking a lot of things. So is it worth it? Is it really worth it? And also you find, even the consumer now. The consumer is not rationally acting. In many occasions, they buy things which they don't need. Or they buy things that not necessarily with the prices that they could buy them in other stores or from the same supplier. So the thing is that you can't say, well, I will sell the commodity. We need a free market. I will sell whatever, even if it does not exist, I will sell it. If we both parties of the contract agree, we're going to proceed. Why there is a restriction? Because we say that you are behaving irrationally. You're taking a high risk. This is too risky. And Allah Ta'ala prohibited us from squandering wealth and money. قال الله تعالى ولا تؤتوا السفهاء أموالكم التي جعل الله لكم قياما. Our wealth كما يقولون المال عصب الحياة. Money, wealth is the skeleton, is the spine bone of life. Life like a machine. You need oil for it to work. What would make it work? What's the oil? Money. Money is the one that is making it oil. Allah يقول جعل الله لكم قياما. Wealth is that which makes humanity works, makes society functions. You can't function without money. You need money. So therefore we need to preserve it. ولهذا one of the major objectives of a Sharia is what? The preservation of what? Wealth. To preserve wealth, both in the affirmative sense and in the negative sense. To legislate things to enhance collecting wealth, in the right way and so on and so forth, and also to preserve wealth, to not do things that would squander it, would waste it away. هذا محرم في الشريعة. قال الله تعالى وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. وقال تعالى ولا تجعل يدك مغلولة إلى عنقك ولا تبسطها كل البسط فتقعد ملوما محسورا. وقال الله تعالى ولا تبذر إن المبذرين كانوا إخوان الشياطين وكان الشيطان لربه كفورا. So then you don't squander your wealth. You don't go through risky risky transactions. Sharia prohibits you. If you act irrationally, Sharia will obstruct you, will hinder your behavior. So then this is what we conclude from what the author rahimahullah has mentioned. Then he says, وَلَا بَيْعُ الْمَغْصُوبِ إِلَّا لِغَاصِبِهِ أو من يقدر على أخذ منه. This is the fifth, right? This is the fifth risky transactions based upon gharar, speculation. بيع المغصوب إلا لغاصبه. يعني مثلا a person comes, then he forces you in taking from you your car. He puts the gun in the head, say, get out of the car. And then he took the car. Then you, not knowing what to do, a person, you went to a dealership. You say, do you want to buy a car? He says, yes. You say, I have a car. Where is it? A person took it. If you would like to buy it, I am more than happy to sell it for you. Okay? This is called what? بيع المغصوب. بيع المغصوب. Or a person puts a gun in your head. Then he kicked you out from your house. Then you said, okay, I don't like the house. Is there anybody want to buy it? Okay? هذا بيع المغصوب. If you usurp something that it was taken from you, like a person in a school, he was slapped twice, then the cell phone was taken. Then he said, oh, well, I don't like it. Is there anybody to buy it? What do we call this? Again, بيع المغصوب. هذا بيع المغصوب. يعني the sale of usurped commodity. He says, rahimahullah, you can't sell something which is مغصوب. Why? Why is that? It's risky because you can't supply it. He says except for two types of people. إلا لغاصبه. If you sell it to a person who usurped it from you. So in the example of the car, the one who put the gun in your head, you say to him that, okay, now you sold it. Would you like to take it in a halal way? Do you want to buy it? He says yes. There's no problem. Why? Because you can supply it. Because it's already under his hand. Or, he says, rahimahullah, أو من يقدر على أخذه منه. Or you can sell it for someone who is able to take it from him. From the usurper. So again, returning to the example of the car, the one who puts the gun in your head. A person, he is a police officer, very well trained. He knows how to take it away from him, how to return it from him. You say to him, look, do you want to buy it from me? He says, yes. You can have a transaction of sale because he can get it. Because the illah, the causal effect, is that you are not able to supply it. In this case, you can supply it because he can take it. Some ulama, they said, for the second example, they said that no, you can't sell it. Even for a person who can take it back. They say that because it's still risky. The risk is still there. The speculation is still there. This is what you think that he is going to be able to return it back, to get it back. But this is not necessarily going to be the case. It's not necessarily going to happen. So therefore, there is gharar. There is a high risk. Still, it is risky. As-sahih, that we would look at the circumstance. If the circumstance, there is very likely, almost 100% that he will get it back, then we will authenticate or validate the contract. If he, however, he is a failure, he chased a lot of, theft and, usurpers, and he never got with anybody. He is about to be fired, that police officer. Then la yajuz, because he is not able to get it back. How do you know that? Through experience. He's a failure. They are just keeping him because he is relative to the manager or something. Okay? Even that. So then al-hukm yadur ma al-ilm. If he is able to get it back, then it's gonna be allowed. or the contract is going to be valid. If he is, however, not able to get it back, لا يجوز بيعها له. طيب. Then he says, رحمه الله, for the sixth one, ولا بيع غير معين كعبد من عبيد أو شاة من قطيع. He said that it's not allowed بيع غير معين, يعني the selling of unspecified. Okay? Unspecified. Look, it's not described the sheep in front of him. He said that I will sell you a sheep. I will sell you a sheep from my sheep. He sees them. هل هذا يجوز؟ لا. Because it's not specified. You need to specify. ولهذا the author رحمه الله says كعبد من عبيد أو شاة من قطيع. Shat from a herd. A sheep from a herd. Even if you see it, you need, وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله, you need to be specific. نعم. Okay, بارك الله فيك. So you need to be specific. You need to specify the commodity. He says رحمه الله except فيما تتساوى أجزاؤه كقفيز من صبرة. Except if that thing, that all of its parts are equal. It's composed of things that are equal. مثلا, let's suppose that we have rice, like a pile of rice. We have a pile of rice. It's rice. There's no problem if he says that I want one pound of rice. 1 pound of this rice. Why? Because all of its parts are equal. There's no difference between any rice within the pile. إذا تساوت أجزاؤه. ولهذا قال كقفيز من صبرة. قفيز is a measurement. من صبرة. الصبرة pile. To pile things up. لأن الصبرة هي صبرة الطعام. يعني if you take food like wheat, grain, and you put it in a place like a store. A store. This is called صبرة. يصبر الطعام. يعني يحبس. Kept. So let's suppose that we have a store here مثلا. I open the door, then it's full of يعني grain. I say that I will sell you 5 pounds for what you see. Is that going to be okay? Yes, because all of its parts are equal. So then بيع المعين يجوز ولا ما يجوز? The default rule بيع غير المعين, the selling of unspecified commodity. This is not allowed because it's what? غرر. It's غرر, risky. Except if it is what? All the same. If all parts are the same, then there's no problem of no specification. Because it won't harm the deed. It's not risky. They are the same. بمنزلة المعلوم. هو معلوم. Are we okay? So then, if we would like to... Now, the author rahimahullah then mentioned things that are not allowed, يعني transactions that they are not allowed. The first one is that which you don't own. That's one. Secondly, that which has no benefit. Thirdly, that which his benefit is impermissible, muharrama, prohibited. Fourthly, that which does not exist. Fifthly, that which is unknown. You know futures, derivatives, you know these? These are prohibited because of these things. Because you sell things which does not exist, which don't exist. That's why the prices go up and down. This fluctuation in the prices and inflation sometimes because of such transactions. We sell and buy things which don't exist, but taking the risk. That's why they call them derivatives, because they derive their value from these which they are stick to. So then he says, so then we have ما ليس بمملوك واحد، والثاني لا نفع فيه، والثالث ما نفع محرم، والرابع المعدوم، والخامس المجهول. The sixth one, that which is not present, that which is not present. And we talked about the two types of it. That which is not present. The sixth one is that which you cannot supply. That which you cannot supply. معجوز عن تسليمه. And then the seventh, ولا بيع المغصوب. That which is usurped. And lastly, the eighth, the unspecified. That which is not specified. The unspecified. إذن هذه هي, these are the things that what? Not allowed to. These are the types of transactions that are not allowed. Then the author rahimahullah says, فصل. And what's the evidence for all of these? We have general evidence, which is نهى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الغرب. حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه. هذا حديث سالم بن صالح عن أبيه عن أبي هريرة. That the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن بيع الغرب في صحيح مسلم. Okay? طيب, why did the Bukhari not report it? Because of الاختلاف على أبي هريرة. Some reported it from Abu Hurairah عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, taken from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. Some reported it to be a statement by Abu Hurairah. So because of which the Bukhari rahimahullah decided not to be included in a Sahih. Although he would consider it to be authentic, but not according to the standard that he wants it to be in a Sahih. Then, and also we have a specific evidence. Like نهى عن بيع الحبلة, نهى عن بيع نهى عن بيع السنين, and so on and so forth. Then the author rahimahullah, now he's mentioning specific transactions, يعني particular transactions that are not prohibited. They are going to be included under one of the three qawaid. What are they? What are they? Riba, usury, or risk, or unfairness. So he is mentioning now specific transactions, not types, specific transactions, that they have their own names. He says, رحمه الله, ونهى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الملامسة. في الصحيحين. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم prohibited that we don't do ملامسة. I think we didn't read this, right? طيب, go ahead and read.
Allah's Messenger.
لا بس الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله.
Alhamdulillah. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Allah's Messenger.
قال المؤلف.
قال المؤلف رحمه
الله. The author says, then you go.
Allah's Messenger, Allah blessed him and give him peace, forbade the following practices. The modes of bargaining called mulamasa, mutual touching, munabbada, throwing the article to and from between the parties, and al-bay' al-hasad, concluding a sale by throwing pebbles to each other. The trade in which a man outbids his brother, the trade in which a townsman acts a broker for a nomad, bidding up the price of an article without intending to buy it, combining two transactions in one, as when the vendor says, I have sold you this for 10 whole coins or 20 broken coins, or I have sold you this on condition that you sell me this or that you buy this from me.
You don't have وقال لا تلقوا السلاح.
The Prophet ﷺ also said, do not procure articles of merchandise until the markets drop their prices. If someone buys food, he must not sell it until he has received the full amount.
طيب. بارك الله. So now
He is specifying,
he's mentioning specific transactions.
turn it up, please.
If you don't mind.
So the Prophet ﷺ is specifying particular practices or transactions that he ﷺ prohibited specifically by their names, not by the description, not by the category. specific way of dealing. The first thing that he mentioned, he said, وَنَهَى رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم عَنِ الْمُلَامَسَةِ, that the Prophet ﷺ prohibited al-mulamasa. Mulamasa يعني touching from both parties. ملامسة يعني from both, not اللمس. هذه مفاعلة in the Arabic language. مفاعلة يعني from two parts, like مقاتلة. مفاعلة, you need two parts. So the Prophet ﷺ prohibited ملامسة في الصحيحين وغيرهما, من حديث أبي سعيد ومن حديث أبي هريرة ومن حديث جابر. في الصحيحين حديث. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited such practice that they used to have. What is it? He says, وهي أن يقول أي ثوب لمسته فهو لك بكذا. How he would, that they used to sell by saying that they show clothes. Okay, clothes, garments. He said that whatever you touch, it's yours. Okay, هذا لا يجوز. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited. Again, what's the causal effect? It's risky in the sense that it is unknown or غير معين, unspecified. But this is for a specific transaction. نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الملامسة. واضح؟ You don't imagine now you have a store and these are the garments that you sell. Okay, these, look at them. Then you say to me, whatever you touch and whatever you take, it's yours. Like this. يعني I don't know what you're gonna buy. Okay, I don't know what you're gonna buy, and then we're gonna finalize the contract based on the things that which you don't know. No, I know, because I don't know what I'm gonna get. I will go and look. This is risky. غرض, هذا غرض, في جهالة. واضح? So I need to come. There's a difference between saying, okay, you can look, and whatever you choose, let me know. Then I will say to you, I will buy this. By how much? By such and such. Then we finalize the contract. But there's a difference to say, okay, whatever you get, and they have different prices, different types, different qualities, different touches, so forth. Then you say, okay, whatever you get, give me whatever. It's risky. Like what we said, Ikhwani, Sharia does not assume that the economic actor is what? Rational. He's not necessarily natural. Because they have, in economy, they have something that is called, they have a graph. Because they assume, economists, what they call them the classical in the modern sense, or in the contemporary sense. Because classicism, or look, economists, generally speaking, they divide the developments of new, or what they call modern economy, into 4 categories. First, we have mercantilism. What is mercantilism? Mercantilism, it means that we go to a land seeking gold, silver, يعني raw materials, and we take them. And hence, we collect wealth. This is how we collect wealth. You go to mines, you mine, get silver and gold, and this is how you become rich. This is how the Portuguese, the Spaniards collected their wealth. They go to South America, to Africa, collect gold, send it back to Europe. And then the kings become rich. But what happened? There was a huge supply of cash, of money. What would happen if you have a lot of money? You will have what? Inflation, and the value of your currency will go down relative to other currencies. And this is one of the reasons that these 2 empires, the Portuguese one and the Spaniards, they deteriorated. Some argue that the United States is going to deteriorate this way because they can print dollars. They can just print dollars. It's like you have a lot of gold, like you have a lot of silver. So يعني the only thing that now is maintained in the United States is its military power. Just if they reduce the amount of spending on military, then people don't trust their market anymore. They don't have a strong currency as it used to be, then the empire will collapse. This is how people now argue that the United States is going to collapse this way. واضح? So then, this is the first one, which is the first stage of what we call modern economy or economics. Mercantilism. Then you move to another stage, which is what they usually call classical capitalism, which is the British way, the Dutch way, which is that I give you money, taking a very high risk, you go to the Indies, or you go to India. You know, you have a lot of gold, you go there, because remember, the Portuguese and the Spaniards, they filled Europe with gold. So now you have this bourgeoisie, you know, the bourgeoisie class, that they have a lot of gold and silver, they had a lot of cash. What they used to do, they were in the Netherlands, in Britain, they began investing in ships going from Europe, like from the Netherlands, from Britain, all the way to India, especially to India. They will give them gold and silver, exchanging what? Commodities. Because during that time, when the British invaded India, one could argue that it has more than 1/3 of the world economy. They're very, very rich, the Indians. But the British, particularly, they looted them. They turned them completely different continent. They looted it. But the Indians, they're so rich, and they were Muslims, the Mughals. So then, the thing is that this is the second type, which is called classical capitalism. That you have capital, you want profit. By taking what? Risk. You are entrepreneurial. Yeah, it's so simple. The third stage, or the third developments, which is what they call the naturalist. Now you have theories. Now you're talking about the likes of Adam Smith, you know, the school of Paris. Now you have theories. Yeah, you're talking now about the mid of the 17th century, early in the 18th century. Now you have what? You have what? Theories. Like you have The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. So now you are systemizing capitalism, the naturalist. يعني دعوة يعمل دعوة يمر. Now you're talking about, because look, the classical capitalism says that the wealth of nation is by trade outside. That's first. And secondly, in order to have the wealth is not about production, it's about trade. In order to have a good economy, and if you have a good economy, it means that you will have, nation that is wealthy. And if you have a nation that is wealthy, the argument goes that you will have population that is wealthy. Then you trade. How to trade? Overseas. This is how they think. The classical capital, the classical capitalism. Then you have the naturalist, which is the second classicism, they call it. Now they are saying it's not about trade, it's about production. The economy is about production. Production of services, production of goods. This is what we now call classical capitalism. That if you like it, the economy is not trade. The economy is what? Production. You need production. What is production? Is the turning of capital into service or commodity. If you turn capital, capital is anything, anything. Look, what's the definition of capital? Anything that could produce commodity or service. That's capital. هذا هو رأس المال. So for them, the capitalists, they say that in order to be wealthy, like the Adam Smith and those people, they say that in order to be wealthy, you don't need to trade, you need to produce. That's why they say that what we call عناصر الإنتاج, the factors of production. What are the factors of production? مازن عناصر الإنتاج ما هي؟ Capital, and then labor, and thirdly they usually call it land. يعني the sources, and then lastly you need what? The entrepreneur, the one who organizes all of these. So hence they say that if you'd like a good economy, this is what's going to make a good economy. This is how you get a good economy. And this is, now they say that in order for these, so therefore they say that we need what? Free market. He called it the hidden hand. Adam said the hidden hand. You need a free market. How to determine the market? Through the mechanism of prices. The thing is that those classics, they assume that you, the economic actor, is what? Rational. They come from, because you live in the age of what? Rationalism, enlightenment, and all this stuff. Because what is rationalism? Rationalism has two meanings. العقلانية ليست العقلية. العقلانية has two meanings. One meaning is that you don't accept anything until it's proven rationally. This is what they usually call extreme rationalism. The other meaning of rationalism, التي العقلانية, it means that reason is sufficient and independent in knowing the truth from falsehood, right from wrong, without any external factors to reason, to it. Society, religion, revelation, this is called what? Rationalism. So if I say to you, be rational, what does that mean? If I say to you, be rational, what does that mean? According to what I've just told you, you don't need to figure it out. If I say to you, be rational, we just say to you that rationalism has two meanings. One is anything that is not proven rationally is what? That it's not worthy of being known. You only accept things that are proven rationally. The second meaning of rationalism is that reason is independent and sufficient for knowing right from wrong, truth from falsehood, without any external factor to it. You don't need society to tell you. You don't need revelation. You don't need experiences. You don't need al-hiss, what we call it. This is the meaning of rationalism. So then if I say to you, according to them, be rational, what does that mean?
Think on your own, I guess. Think on your own, because external factors don't. Exactly.
That you are an independent actor. That's the meaning. You are an independent actor. You are a rational actor. You are as an economic unit. You can behave rationally. You are independent. So therefore, what they look for, they will say that you have something that they call it the utility and the interest. They have it usually like this. Very simple. This is like supply and demand. This is basic. This is 101. They have it like this. You say the utility, and here's the interest. how you act as a rational, you calculate it. يعني the utility اللي هي المنفعة. مثلا you have this utility of a commodity or service, and but you are interested, you want it here. Okay? So then they would say that this is the chance, this is the likelihood of you going to buy it. واضح؟ يعني it's based on how much benefit you get from it, the utility, and how much interest you put in that commodity or service. So therefore they assume that you're rational. Do you think that consumers, they act like this? Or they are dumb? Yeah. So easily, just put a woman on a commodity and they will buy. Yeah. You know that. What's the relationship between a woman being almost naked, put on a truck, and food? And says buy it, or it's smiling and put in all of these. Why? Why they are commoditizing the body of that woman? Because they know you're not rational. You're what? Emotional. You will act not rationally. They know that. وهذا marketing, it's completely the opposite. The marketing, they don't assume the economic unit, the economic actor to be rational. You can marketize him, let alone marketizing the commodity for him. You can marketize him. يعني مثلا if you enter a supermarket, they will order it in a way that they will put the important things away so that you will enter the store. And then you will look at everything and then you get out. On the way, pick something here, pick something here, pick something here, which you didn't even think of going from your house to the supermarket. The thing is that Sharia does not assume that. Sharia does not assume this. Sharia assumes that you think rationally, but also at the same time, you have desires. You have a desire for money, to be risky, to squander your wealth, because you don't just think about what you want. You're also affected by your desires. The Sharia takes this into consideration. And if we find a person who would think that this is going to be okay for him and good for him, while the reality is that it is harmful for him, Sharia also will prevent him, and we would call him سفيه. سمى السفيه لا يحسن التصرف. He does not know how to handle money. يحجر عليه سمى لسفه. So then, this is the third stage. Then we are now in what we call financial capitalism. This is the fourth stage of what they call capitalism. You know, in the third stage, we have, trying to fix capitalism, you have what? Marxism. And Americans, they hate Marxism from the core of their heart. They hate it, just if you'd like to destroy the reputation of a person, call him what? Marxist or communist. He is a communist, that's it. If you say to American he's a communist, that's it. Socialist, that's it. But in Europe, if you say that person is a socialist, he's going to win tomorrow. Okay? This is the difference. America now, they hate, solidarity and all this stuff. You work yourself. Like you scratch the rocks yourself. The government is not there for you. This is, if you in the United States, if you fail, if you work 12 hours daily and you barely pay your bills, it's your fault. Always it is your fault. Why is that? Why is that? Because there is an assumption that the system is what? not necessarily fair, but you have opportunities. You are the one who's not doing it. But in the United States, the government is not supposed to pay you for your higher education. Why do we pay for it? It's a privilege, not right. If you like to have it, you pay for it. You work hard, then you go to school, you study for higher degree, so that you're gonna have a good job. The government is not there for you. But in Germany, or Scandinavia, it's your right. The government is going to give you this. And you can study when you are at the age of 50, 70. You can say that I want to graduate at that time. School is not a hindrance from you from finding a job. You can find a job. Always the state must provide you a job. You must find a job. If you don't, even if you find job, like in Germany or these Scandinavian countries, if you don't find a job, if you find job, but you say, I'm not comfortable with it, the government will keep paying you. Yeah, they'll give you a shoulder. You're shocked. This is how it is in Europe. But in America, dream it. You can't. You can't have it. This won't happen in the United States. If this guy Bernie Sanders was elected, this guy is revolutionary in terms, according to the American standard. He's saying things that they don't resonate at all. That's why he was called socialist, communist, all this stuff, Marxist. Just saying that we would like to have a universal healthcare here. Just a universal healthcare. You're a communist. You are a communist. واضح؟ فإذا the thing is that you are not assumed to be rational. هذا مهم جدا. So then, if you say to me that whatever clothes that you can take, then it's going to be okay, هذا لا يجوز until you what? Specify it and we agree on the price. He says وعن المنابذة وهي أن يقول أي ثوب نبذته إلي فهو علي بكذا. He says that the Prophet ﷺ prohibited المنابذة. المنابذة من النبذ. النبذ throwing. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited. هذا صحيحين. حديث the same حديث جابر وحديث أبي سعيد الخدري وحديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited المنابذة. What is المنابذة? The author رحمه الله interpreted it. He says أي ثوب نبذته إلي فهو علي بكذا. He says to him, whatever thawb you give me, I will take it for such and such price. مثلا, again for these jackets, you say that give me whatever and I will give you $50. This is what? هذا غرر, too risky. سمى منابذة. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم prohibited لما فيه من الغرر. هذا فيه غرر. Then he says وعن بيع الحصى. He says that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم prohibited بيع الحصى. Al-Hasa, he interpreted, it has been interpreted by multiple interpretations. Bay al-Hasa. All of them refer to the same thing, which is gharar, risky. He says, وَهُوَ أَنْ يَقُولَ ارمي هذه الحصى فأي ثوب وقعت عليه فولك بكذا. Again, these clothes. He will have like a stone. He said that you can throw the stone wherever it lands, on whatever clothes, whatever jacket, it's what? It's yours. واضح؟ هذا لا يجوز. Why? Because it is unknown, غرض, risky.
Yeah,
No.
it's yours as in you still have to pay for it.
أي نعم. This is not a gift. This is a sale transaction. If it is a gift, there is no problem. If it is a gift, there is no problem. But now there is a sale transaction. It's yours, you can take it for sale. It's too risky. It will lead to what? Disputes. You say, well, I don't want it because now you say it's $50. It's not even worth $1. You see, you get it. This is what we have agreed on. Right? This is what we have finalized. We have finalized that this is going to lead to disputes because of al-jahala, al-gharab. He says, أو بئتك ما تبلغ هذه الحصاة من هذه الأرض إذا رميتها بكذا. مثلا he has a land, believe that, يعني imagine now you have a land. You say that, okay, you can take a rock, throw it. Wherever the rock lands, this is what I'm going to say. This is the borders that I'm going to say. Is that allowed? لا. Because it's what? غرر, risk, جهالة, في جهالة. He says, وعن بيع الرجل على بيع أخيه. That the Prophet ﷺ prohibited بيع الرجل على بيع أخيه. Look, the Prophet ﷺ prohibited a type of bay'a, which is that a person will outbid his brother. بيع أخيه. Now we have two issues. The first issue is that the evidence for this is that which is reported في الصحيحين وفي غيرهما عن عبد الله بن عمر وعن أبي هريرة وعن جابر that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن بيع الرجل على بيع أخيه. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم prohibited us from outbidding our brothers. How is that? It has multiple what we call صور, يعني multiple يعني implementations, multiple ways of doing this. One way is that I come to Amir. Amir just finalize the contract with what's your name? You. Ya Awwal. He just bought from him a cell phone for 500 bucks. I come to Amir and I say, are you stupid? You get this for 500 bucks. Okay? I can sell it to you with 300. With the same quality. It's even better. After they have finalized the contract. So then what's going to happen? It's going to be sad. I lost 200 bucks. While I can get it for 300. He does not like this guy. He will return to him. I don't want it. So we're done. We're done. Yeah, we're done. So what's going to happen? He feels sad. واضح? Or let's say that person will accept. He will do what we call iqala. He will accept it from him. He will take it. Now you cause them to lose. Because they have agreed. That the Amir agreed. You cause them to lose $500. So in both cases, whether that he returns it or not, the situation is bad. It's either to be bad for Amir or to be bad for Awwal. ولهذا the Prophet ﷺ prohibited that contract. نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن بيع الرجل على بيع أخيه. Or sometimes, what he's going to say, he's saying that I will buy this cell phone from you for 500 bucks. He can come to him and say that I will get you, but for the same price, something better. It's considered to be what? بيع الرجل على بيع أخيه. واضح؟ إذا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن بيع الرجل على بيع أخيه. The same thing is also, which is the other issue, شراء الرجل على شراء أخيه, which is the opposite. How is it going to be? That instead of Amir, now Amir, instead of me going to Amir telling him that I have a better commodity with better price, or better commodity with the same price, I would go to Awwab. They have agreed that he will sell him for 500 bucks. I will come to him and say, do you sell him? Are you done? I say, I can get it for 600. I can get it from you for $600. You're a loser. You can get me, I can get it for 600. هذا لا يجوز شراء الرجل على شراء أخيه. هذا لا يجوز. Because now we have the same situation. This guy is going to return to Amir. Please, I need the cell phone back. I changed my mind. He said, no, I got it. He's happy now. He began dating. Yeah, dating who? His wife. So he began, he's happy. So now Ayub is what? sad. Ayub sad because he can get 600. طيب. Or that he will return to Amir and Amir will accept to return the cell phone, but he's sad. Now the one who's sad is who? Amir. So in both cases you're going to sadden one party in the transaction. فإذا لا يجوز بيع الرجل على بيع أخيه ولا شراء الرجل على شراء أخيه. Write it down. And we're going to be back to him inshallah. هل هذا واضح؟ طيب. If the transaction happens, are we going to invalidate the contract? يعني we will say that the contract is valid. يعني I went on and I sold it to Amir for 300 مثلا. Is that contract going to be valid? And we are sinful. I am sinful. لكن the contract is valid. He owns the commodity. It's halal. But the action itself is haram. Because it's not related to the contract. That all the conditions for the contract are valid. The ulama, the majority of the ulama, they say that the contract is not valid. So therefore, the transaction needs to be finalized or invalidated. Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he says, وهو رواية عن أحمد, he said that I would invalidate the contract and I will leave it to Amir to decide. Do you want to continue with the transaction or for a wab? Do you want to continue the transaction or you want to return the commodity? هل هذا واضح؟ فهو يقول له that it will be acceptable, it will be valid, but with the choice given to the one who's wrong. والصحيح الأول لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن العقد والأصل في النهي what? The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم prohibited the contract, and the default ruling for prohibition is what? التحريم. We agree that it's haram, but is it valid or not valid? يقتضي الفساد. Because if you still remember في الأصول قلنا إن النهي يقتضي what? Two things. Prohibition would entail two things. تحريم, and the second one is what? Is what? The invalidation of the contract or the ibadah. Until otherwise stated. And there is nothing here to make the invalidity not applicable. So the thing is that بيع الرجل على بيع أخيه is going to be what? Invalid. Not only haram, but it's also invalid. In the sense that Amir does not own the cell phone anymore. لا يجوز له أن يملكها. The one that he bought from me. He bought from me for 300. He needs to get the one from Ayub. It's already finalized in order to maintain brotherhood, not to make people sad. Let the one who is going to wrong to be sad. طيب, the author rahimahullah says, he reported the same statement of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, على بيع أخيه. يعني this is between Muslims. Does that mean that we can do it for non-Muslims? Because he said, على بيع أخيه, for his brother. Or we say that this is خرج مخرج الغالب. Because we are supposed in a Muslim society to have a transactions more with who? With Muslims, like here now. Now, did you do transactions today? With who? With non-Muslims, because this is the majority. So when he ﷺ said على بيع أخيه, it's based on the assumption that you are in a Muslim society. If you live in a Muslim society, you're going to deal with Muslims. But this does not mean that the non-Muslims, you can do it to them. Okay? ولهذا هذا هو القول الصحيح, as opposed to المذهب, they are literalist in this issue. They say that the Prophet ﷺ said على بيع أخيه. It means that for non-Muslims, you can do it. هكذا قالوا. This is how they understood it. Because he said صلى الله عليه وسلم على بيع أخيه. For his brother. He is not your brother. So then they understood it this way. لكن الصحيح أن هذا خرج مخرج الغالب. يعني this is a statement stated based on what? the majority of the transactions. خرج مخرج الغالب. That's why he says على أخيه. نعم يا أمير. And we'll be back to you inshallah. Yeah. What's your name again? Yeah, Suhaib. نعم.
Does this ruling only apply if the transaction is finalized?
Now both, whether it is finalized or not finalized, unless as long as they are about to strike a deal, you can't come in the middle and say, I can get it for better deal. Now we have agreed. Bismillah.
Also, would this also be applicable? Say you have a shop and someone comes in, you compare your price to another shop like Walmart. That's cheaper here, or something like that.
Again.
If you have a store or a shop and you compare your prices to other places,
اي نعم. Then you tell someone else.
yeah, like
ما في مشكلة. ما في مشكلة. But let's suppose that he bought from that store. When he bought to that store, then you come and say, you can have a better deal. You're going to make him sad. You will sadden him. Especially if there is a big, هذا يسمى عند العلماء خيار الغبن. You have what, يعني, like what, يعني, Abu Hanifa, he says that you have al-khiyar. He says that I will validate the contract, I will give you the choice. We call it khiyar al-ghabn. Al-ghabn يعني, if it's clearly you lose. Okay, يعني مثلا الآن في عندنا خيار عند الفقهاء يسمى خيار المسترسل. Because we have at least 6 types of what we call choice, sale of choice. One of them is khiyar al-mustarsil. Who is a mustarsil? A person, let's suppose that you go to a market, like bazaar. When you go to bazaar, if he says to you in 60, you can go back and forth. Well, I want it for 50, 55, and so forth. There are some people, they just buy. Some mustarsil. He does not care. يعني he is not used to مماكسة يعني لا يماكس لا he yeah نعم he does not negotiate. So let's say that he comes to buy. Do you want to buy this cup? You say yeah for $15. $15 okay. لا يماكس. هذا شرعا we give him خيار. You're miserable. You get this for $15. Then we give him what? Khiyar, choice. Either that you return the car, or you can still keep it, and the seller will pay you the difference. Let's suppose that this is for $2. سمى الغبن. So what do we give him? $13. You must give him $13 back. You take $13 like this? لا. واضح. ولهذا هذا يسمى يعني again, because we don't assume the economic actor to be what? Rational. This is one of the major differences between what they call the Islamic economic theory and the contemporary economic theory. We don't assume the actor to be rational. لا. We assume him to be responsible, but we don't assume him to be rational. Not necessarily, utility and interest, and this is the way that he is going to act. لا. Although sometimes you find some people that they have coupons and they compare prices, they look at the prices, weekly they go to markets. You have some people, like in my country, يذهب إلى السوق تقريبا كل أسبوع. He will check the prices. If it was before the month that he will go to buy, he will go to the السوق مثلا سوق الخضرة. He will go to the market. مثلا here giant نحن عندنا التميمي الدانوب كذا. He will go to مثلا giant, Walmart, Shoppers. Look at the prices for the commodities that he's gonna buy. He will record them, and then he will begin to compare, or he will go online, and then he will begin to compare. Then eventually he will save. Sometimes he will save $200, $300. He can save. Then he will have coupons. He will have, discounts, 10% here, 5% here, 12% here. So he saves a lot. But is this common amongst people? No. And even when they want to buy, they look at the ingredients. when they're gonna, the expiration date. A lot of people threw in the cart, right? And then, oh, this has expired, threw it. Oh, this is not the one that we want. Oh, this is not the one that I tasted last week. وهكذا. Then half of the cart thrown. This is what they call consumerism. You are assumed to consume because these are the three, what they call the three pillars of capitalism. You need the capital, production, and then consumption. And it has a chronological disease, capitalism, which is what? Overproduction. We produce more than what we consume. That's why we need to constantly consume. You open your mailbox, advertisement. We need to consume. Wherever you go, consume, advertisement. Wherever you go, because we need to consume. Because for whom we produce these? We produce them for you. If you don't consume, what we're gonna do? Not waste. This is very simple. Akid we waste money. But what's going to happen economically? If you have overproduction and you don't have consumption, what does that mean? You have low employment because we're going to release these people. Because for us to keep up, we need what? Our productions to be bought. If they are not bought, we don't have enough to pay back the employees. Or what's going to happen? We're going to raise the cost of production. If we raise the cost of production, nobody is going to buy because you have what? Inflation. The same dollar that you had last week, this week can't get you what you want in $1. واضح؟ The thing is that the economic actor is not rational. He is responsible for whatever you do. You're going to be held responsible. You don't say, well, I'm not rational. And you say that, I'm not rational. Yeah, you are not rational, but you are what? Responsible. Will we accept the fact that you are going to have إسراف. الإسراف يعني مجاوزة الحد في أمر مباح. Instead of buying, it's enough for you to have one car. You get 3. This is called what? إسراف. مجاوزة الحد في أمر مباح. التبذير هو مجاوزة الحد في أمر محرم. يعني not only you drink 1 cigarette, which is haram, 1, but you finish one packet in 1 day. Like someone says to you, I challenge you to kill yourself. Yani even if someone says to you, I challenge you to kill yourself, you won't do it this way. Yeah, you have people that they finish 1 packet every day. نسأل الله السلامة والعافية. So then he said وعن بيع الرجل على بيع أخيه. Then he said وعن بيع حاضر لباد. The Prophet ﷺ also prohibited one transaction, one specific one, which is وأن يبيع حاضر لباد. الحاضر يا إخواني, الحاضر is the what's the opposite of a Bedouin? Civilian or? No, resident is the opposite of a traveler. But if you have Bedouin or a person living in the forest, what do you call? Yeah, I think that he's called civilian.
Settled or a normal everyday person.
And that person is also a normal everyday person. Yeah, he's normal everyday person. He's living his life normally. This is his normal life.
Well, when I say that, I just mean like considered normal, like living in normal circumstances other than like living in the forest.
A Bedouin. This is his way of life. Some people live in the city, some people live in forest, some people live in the desert.
It's called urban.
But I يعني the one who lives is called urban. I am called urban. يعني I am urban civilian, or what is it called? Townsman, it could be, okay.
Urbanized.
That urbanized is a description. This is adjective. لا يعني what's the noun of it? What's the noun? He's a Bedouin, nomad, and then what's the opposite? You speak English, please.
Sedentary person. Sedentary person.
Sedentary, like this?
Yeah, sedentary person.
Sedentary is lazy, Yusuf. Sedentary.
Yeah.
You live a sedentary life, you're lazy, idle. Anyway, so the one who lives, يعني the one who lives in the city, the one who's settled. Because look, Bedouins, we have nomads, okay? And the other type of them, they are what? Settled, not nomads.
عندنا اسم.
Huh.
So according to the dictionary,
Uh.
Oxford, it's urbanite.
Urbanite, أحسنت. نعم, the urbanite. Exactly. Yeah, you learned the word today.
A lot of words.
Huh?
That's a lot of words.
يعني urbanite. The urbanite is the opposite of a person living in the forest, in the desert. He's not in the urban area. So the urbanite, now the Bedouins are two types. We had some Arab linguists. They differentiate between Arabi and Badawi. They say that the Bedouin, we have Arabi and we have Badawi. And there are a lot of rulings, by the way, that they are written about a Bedouin or a person who is not urbanite. Some linguists, they say that the Bedouin is the one who is settled, like he has a tent and settled. While al-Arabi is the nomad, al-Rahal, al-Badawi al-Rahal. He chases water, he goes after water. والخصب يعني good areas for pastures وهكذا, for pasturizing. هذا يسمى الأعرابي. While the majority of the linguists, they say that there is no distinguishment. الأعرابي هو البدوي والبدوي هو الأعرابي. والله تعالى mentioned both. وجاء بكم من البدو. وقال الله تعالى الأعراب أشد كفرا ونفاقا وأجدر أن لا يعلم حدود ما أنزل الله على رسوله. So both البدوي هو الأعرابي, both. The thing is that the Prophet ﷺ prohibited the urbanite from selling a commodity of the Bedouin or a Bedouin. In what way? How he prohibited it? This is Sahih reported. So Tawus asked Abdullah ibn Abbas, because Abdullah ibn Abbas, he's the one reporting this. He said, what does that mean? He said that لا يكون له سمسارة. يعني he won't act as a broker for him. واضح؟ طيب. What's your name? You are a Bedouin, okay? And Mazen is an urbanite. Now, what do you bring from Al-Badiyah or from forest? You bring fur, okay, fur. Like it was a very common commodity, the French, the Mississippi River, right? It was a very important, it was a vein for the American economy. And it's still, up till this day, it maintained independent American economy. They don't need anybody because of what they have. Now you have fur. You come from the forest or from the desert. Then Mazen, who is an urbanite, he lives in Kingstown or in Alexandria. He will come to you and he will say that I will have a deal on your behalf. I will facilitate the sale for you. What's the problem with that?
You're taking advantage of his lack of experience with all the urbanites and
Now for you, the one who is coming to sell the fur, what do you want to get? Profit. So let's suppose that the profit is $3, $4. Are you willing to sell? Yeah, because you want to return it. You want to stay 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, waiting for the best price. You want to return. You have your commodities, you want to sell and return, right? And you will be enough for you. Any amount of profit, as long as you return with the profit, say Alhamdulillah. You're a Bedouin, and you have nothing to do there. What you're going to do with Haram money? You have nothing. So you return with enough return, profit, and you're going to go back. So then you're going to benefit, and the market is going to benefit. People are going to benefit. In what sense? The prices are going to go to be manageable, to be low. While at the same time, you the Bedouin, also having the return, your profit. So it's a win-win. It's the customers in the market are going to get good prices, and also you, the Bedouin, the trader, is going to to profit. What's the problem if an urbanite comes to you? If he takes it on your behalf and he will sell it to you, that person, crossing his legs. He's waiting for the prices to go up. Especially if your fur is needed in the market. Everybody needs the fur. So for you come, let's suppose that you arrive early in the morning at 8:30. By 10:30, you're selling all of your commodities. You want to return. This guy, he has coffee. There's coffee sitting, until, instead of, let's suppose that you have 50 furs, you would sell for $3 per piece. And you would profit. It costs you about $1, $2, $1 profit. Alhamdulillah, it's good. But this guy, he knows that instead of selling for $3 by 10:30 in the morning, he can wait up till 2:30 in the morning. People are going to come from work. 3:30 in the morning, afternoon. And then what's going to happen? The prices will go up because more demand going to happen. So instead of selling for $3, you hold the commodities until they are sold for $9, $10. So the prices go up with lower consumption because you have more demand, right? So the Prophet ﷺ prohibited this guy from brokering on your behalf. But he ﷺ said, you don't go to him. لا يبع حاضر لباد. You don't do it. Right? هذا هو معنى أن يكون له سمسار. So it is prohibited. But as the fuqaha rahimahullah understood the motivation or the incentive behind the prohibition, they say that this transaction is going to be prohibited, but with conditions. The first condition is that the Bedouin, what's your name again? I'm sorry? Mu'adh. The Bedouin does not know the prices. If he knows the prices, then he chooses, then he can stay waiting for the prices to go up, or he will sell for whatever profit that he will get. So then he must be an ignorant of the prices. But if he knows about the prices, then you can go home. Because if he knows the prices, it's highly likely that he will sell with the prices. But if he does not know the prices, he will sell بسعر اليوم, يعني in whatever available. The only thing that he's concerned about is to sell. He wants to get the profit. The second thing is that the urbanite will go to him. Yani he will offer him to broker. But if the Bedouin himself go to him and say, I want you to broker for me, I want a good price, I want to profit a lot, then it's allowed. Yani it's allowed for the urbanite to act because he didn't ما قصده, he didn't go to him, he didn't offer the brokerage. He, the Bedouin, offered him to broker on his behalf. واضح؟ إذا لا بد أن يكون أن يكون الحاضر قاصدا للبادي. That you go to him. But if he goes to you, you offered him to a broker on his behalf, then there's no problem. Because you're looking for the prices. You are the one looking for the prices. So the effect is from you. Thirdly, that the commodity must be needed in the market. Yani there is a demand for the commodity. But if people don't care, like you're selling what? You're bringing us something nobody cares about. You're bringing to us from Al-Badiya مثلا some sort of dirt, soil. Yani nobody's going. People don't need it. People don't need it. Yani that type of commodity, if there's no demand in the market, that there's no need, then that guy, the urbanite guy, can go to the Bedouin. If there is no demand in the market for that particular commodity, لا يكون للناس بها حاجة. So if there is a demand, like fur, and it's the season of getting fur, then he cannot go for him and say, I will broker for you. The problem is that the prices will go up. So then if the commodity is not needed in the market, that there's no demand in the market, then he can broker on his behalf. هل هذا إن شاء الله واضح؟ نعم.
Can we extend this ruling to similar situations with different characters? Maybe not a Bedouin and not, but a traveler who doesn't know the market or.
Exactly, which is now we're going to be talking about it. يسمى جلب now. He said رحمه الله. So are you sure, first of all, are you comfortable with this? عن بيع الحاضر للبادي. So do you understand the meaning of the prohibition of an urbanite selling on behalf of the Bedouin? What's the meaning? Brokering on his behalf. يسمسر له. يسمى السمسار, brokerage. طيب, and during the Arab times, during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the Arabs used to do it all around. Arabs, they're very, very good traders, like Jews. They're very good traders. They know how to trade. So one of the ways that they used to do it is to do how to do it by brokering for those Bedouins. طيب. ولهذا the Prophet ﷺ, he used to have Sahabi, if we authenticate the hadith. His name is Zahir. He used ﷺ to say, Zahirun badiyatuna wa nahnu hadiratu. And he used to make the Prophet ﷺ laugh, to the extent that he ﷺ once came while he was in the market. He came from behind. Then he lifted him up from behind. Then he said, who is going to buy? Who's going to buy? Then he turned back. Then he realized that he was the Prophet ﷺ. Then he said, oh Rasulullah, do you think that I will be cheap? That you're going to sell me for cheap? فكان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, he makes the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم laugh. يحبه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He brings to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم from Al-Badiyah, from the desert, milk, fur, and all this stuff. And the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم will give him the stuff that he needs from the urban area. فكان يقول هو بديتنا. He is our desert and we are his urban. ونحن حاضرته. We are his حاضرة. طيب. He says رحمه الله وعن النجش. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم prohibited النجش. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم prohibited النجش. نعم. النجش in the Arabic language هو الإثارة. To make things like, if you have مثلا gazelle, deer, then you say like this, then they will go all over, right? هذا يسمى النجش. نجشتها. So what is a nudge linguistically? Jurisprudentially, أن يزيد في السلعة من لا يريد شراءها. Imagine you are in an auction. Okay? You're selling what? You're selling your hat. Then you say, نحن نقول من يفتح بابه. Who is going to begin the bidding? والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم باع في من يزيد. باع حديث أنس رضي الله عنه. حديث أبي بكر الحنفي عن أنس. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم did this transaction. باع في من يزيد. عليه الصلاة والسلام. يعني he did it. He was the auctioneer. صلى الله عليه وسلم. So then I say, now who's going to begin the bidding? Then you say, yeah. What do you say? What do you think? $5. Okay. What about you? $7.
$15.
$15. MashaAllah.
15-1.
15 16 then. 16 like this or 15.1 cent? 15 point cent.
15.01.
Yeah. 15.01. Okay. What about you? هذا النج. هذا كليل. لا be realistic. I'm trying to make it real. 20 ما شاء الله. 23. 30 ما شاء الله. طيب
35.
35.
35.50.
Yeah, this is how the people, I mean, you don't know how to bid at all. يعني. Okay, 36. Be real يا إخواني, be real. يعني give it what you think that you're gonna buy it for. Are you gonna buy this by 36? Yeah.
There's a name on it. Maybe.
Okay, so 40. 40. Huh? Yeah. Uh-huh. 40. Uh-huh. Okay. Now he's my friend. Okay. What do you want to do? I noticed you said 40. I noticed that you want it. You want it. You're serious about it. You want it. So what I'm gonna do? I noticed that it stopped at 40. So I say 41. And I will look at you in the eye and I will see how you react. 41. 41. What about you? Yeah, he wants it. He wants it. 40, 42. Okay. 42, 42, 42. Does not go up. I look at you, still looking at it. You want it. 43. Yeah, 43. He wanted. He wants it. Okay, 43.5. Okay, 43, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45. Nobody says it. Well, I noticed that he can push. He can push. Okay, 46. 47. Alhamdulillah. I gave him more $7. هذا لا يجوز. This is called what? نج. هذا لا يجوز. أن يزيد في سعر السلعة من لا يريد شراءه. I will increase the auction, I will increase the bid without intending to buy it. But I have multiple benefits. One of them, I want to benefit my friend. Another one is that I will make the auction price in this way because I have a commodity. Because now if anybody is going to bid for the same hat, he can't go below 40, right? So that's why I increased it because I want my commodity to be sold with the same price. هل هذا واضح؟ And auctioneers, they are professional in doing this. يمشون على النجس. لا سيما الدلالين نحن نسميه الدلال. Those who sell cars, they are magicians. They sell things unbelievably Although that sometimes we usually say that it was sold under the microphone. نحن نقول it was sold under the microphone on auction. Sometimes we don't recommend for you to stop your car in the dealership, we say. Don't go and stop it in the درج. يعني لا تبيعها في المعرض. How do you buy it? How do you sell it? How do you sell it? في الحراج. في الحراج يعني in action. Under the microphone. If you know someone who knows how to do it, instead of selling it for, let's suppose, 50,000, and this is exactly its price. It's very, very difficult to go up. If you sell it under the microphone, a person who knows how to do it, but sometimes they want you to be patient. They say they won't sell it this week, give us one more week. You might get $90,000. $90,000. Almost 50%. 90% difference. واضح؟ فأنت يعني what I'm saying is that النجش هذا حرام لا يجوز. It's a major sin. نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن النجش. Okay? So then you don't increase the price without intending to buy. It means therefore if you increase the price intending to buy, there's no problem. If you bid for a higher price, intending to buy, even if you didn't buy later on, but when you do it, you intended to buy. But then, things don't go that way. مثلا, when you reach 40, intending to buy, you can't go beyond 40. It's too much. I can't get this hat for 40. I mean, what's going on? I can get all of your clothes for 40. Right? يعني I feel that I'm what? يعني مغبون. يعني this is wrong. For me, I feel that I'm squandering my money. It's not a good deal. Then he says, now what's the evidence for the prohibition? حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه, حديث جابر, نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن النجش. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تناجشوا. ولا تناجشوا. طيب, then he said, and the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, وعن بيعتين في بيعه. That the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم prohibited بيعتين في بيعه. Then he went on to interpret it. Two sale transactions in one contract. How is that? How do you have two sale transactions in one contract? He said وهو أن يقول بعتك هذا بعشرة صحاح أو 20 مكسرة, أو يقول بعتك هذا على أن تبيعني هذا أو تشتري مني هذا. He says that he will say to him, مثلا, the cell phone, either buy $5 or €5, like this. He says here بعشرة صحاح أو 20 مكسرة. 10 يعني 10 دراهم أو 10 دنانير صحاح, or 20 مكسرة, 20 broken. And they don't finalize the contract. He's given him the choice, either this or this. هذا لا يجوز. لا يجوز. I can't say to you, I will sell you this cell phone for $5 or for 20 riyals. We need to finish, decide, okay, do you want $5 or 20 riyals? They say 20 riyals. Now so it's for 20 riyals. I can't say to you, you're given the choice, you want it for 20 riyals or $5. ما يجوز هذا. We need to decide each one in order to avoid what? Disputes. حتى ما يكون في risk, غرر. Okay, speculation. We need to be very clear. Or he says, أو يقول بعتك هذا على أن تبيعني هذا أو تشتري مني هذا. If he says to him, look, I will sell you the cell phone on the condition that you will buy my sofa, or you will sell me another thing, but I will buy you the cell phone on the condition that I will buy your sofa. هذا لا يجوز. هذا بيعتين في two sale transactions in one sale transaction. هذا لا يجوز. Or in one contract. هل هذا واضح؟ The second one يا إخواني, هذا الصحيح أنه بيع وشرط. And the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن بيع وشرط أو عن سلف وبيع. أو عن بيع أو عن سلف وشرط. حديث عمرو بن شعيب عن أبي عن جده. So then this is prohibited. بيعتين في بيعة. Also we have one way of بيعتين في بيعة. صورة also. One implementation of بيعتين في بيعة. إذا قال له أبيعك حالا ب10 وأبيعك مؤجلا ب20 ثم يتفرقان من غير التغيير. If he says to him, I will sell to you the cell phone now for $20. In the future, meaning if you're gonna pay me in the future, it will be for $30. And they don't have a specification. He said, okay, I agree, but without specifying which method, which one. هذا نهي داخل في النهي عن بيعتين في بيعة. So then النهي عن بيعتين في بيعة has at least three صور. الفقه يذكرون له 9 صور. 9 practices. But now here, know these 3 practices. So then the first one is what? I will sell you this cell phone for $20 or €50. This is what? Haram. هذا نهي. هذا بيعتين في بيعة. Another practice that he will say to him, I will sell you this cell phone on the condition that you sell me your cell phone. I will buy from you this cell phone on the condition that you're gonna buy from me chair. هذا بيعتين في بيع أو بيع وشرط. The third practice is to do what? Is to say what? If you pay immediately, if you pay now, it would be for $30. But if you pay in the future, it will be $60. No, usually you want to go down because you need to profit the time difference. There is a difference between something in your hand now and something you will have it after a week. So, are you ready to sell your car for مثلا $10,000 now, or for $11 next week?
No.
Yeah, something munajjaz. That's why we love this dunya. Do you know why we love this dunya? Because it's now. وَإِلَّا in the future. That's why we are so hung into it, because it's now. munajjaza. We love things now. If you tell your child that, look, we will have a trip, very beautiful trip like Hawaii, Hawaii, but in the next year, or we're gonna go to a miserable forest, a snowy, but he wants to go. You say, yeah, let's go now, right? Because it's now, it's near, close. But we are psychologically, we love things now. If the things happen now. العجلة. قال تعالى خلق الإنسان من عجل. وقال الله تعالى وكان الإنسان عجولا. عجول. We love things to be quickly. ولهذا part of the reason that traders and investors are successful, because they are the exception. They are not the rule. They are ready to wait. Why a lot of people they don't they're not successful in their investments? Because they get bored. And to invest for 5 years, let me get a salary every month and I get my stuff. That's it, right? But 5 years, that's why not a lot of people are good for investing. The reason is that they're not patient. They want things to materialize quickly. The thing is that this is one of what we call بيعتين في بيعة. If you say that I will sell you the cell phone or the chair now for $50, in a week for 55 bucks or 60 bucks. This is called what? بيعتين في بيع. Two transactions in one contract. هذا لا يجوز. نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن هذا. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من باع بيعتين في بيعة فله أوكسهما أو الربا. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, this is عند أبي داود وغيره through the chain of يحيى بن زكريا عن محمد بن عمرو بن علقمة عن أبي سلمة عن أبي هريرة. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said that whoever sells two sale transactions in one contract, then فله أوكسهما, he will take the less, or otherwise riba. This is going to be riba. يعني مثلا in the example that we gave, for now 20 bucks, in the future 30 bucks. What do you deserve? 20 bucks. If you go with the 30, this is going to be considered what? Riba. فله أوكسهما يعني أنقصهما. If I say to you, if I will sell you this commodity for $30 or 50 euros, فله أوكسهما, what is going to be? 30 euros, $30 أوكسهما. Okay? وعلى هذا فقس. So you go with the less. Otherwise it's going to be riba. طيب. He says رحمه الله وقال لا تلقوا السلع حتى يهبط بها الأسواق. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم says you don't, how he translated it here? لا تلقوا السلع. He said
do not procure articles of merchandise until the markets drop their prices.
Okay. طيب. He says do not procure articles and merchandise until it is brought to the market. هذا يسمى عند العلماء ويسماه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم تلقي الجلب. هذا يسمى تلقي الجلب. What is الجلب? The those who bring يعني commodities to the stores, to the market. Because what is a market? What is a market? Now we are just saying market. What is a market? What? So during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there was no market. Okay.
The means through which the sellers and the buyers.
Ahsan. It's the place, whether there is physical or unphysical, where commodities presented by the sellers that are going to be bought or taken from by the buyers. So basically the market is the meeting point between those who want to sell and those who want to buy. هذا هو معنى السوق. من السوق يساق إليه. السوق يعني to bring to. Because if a souk, you bring the seller bring the commodity and the buyer will come to take it. هذا هو معنى السوق. من السوق لأنه يساق إليه. So this is the meaning of the market. Now, the Prophet ﷺ prohibited us from going to those who supply the market, that they bring to the market the commodities they want to sell. He ﷺ prohibited us from going to them before they arrive to the market to sell. Let me give you an example. You want to, what do they call it? If they, you see the parking lot, sometimes you have people that they sit and they bring their things from their farm and they sell it. Farmers markets. This is, I think the best thing that we can make it simple for you. Now, so they come early in the morning, they have their tent and they prepare themselves. So and then they bring the car, the truck, full of their commodities, they bring it to the market to be, so me and you, the buyers, the consumers, are going to there to buy it. So you, instead of waiting for them until they come with their truck, with their commodities to the market, you go in the middle of the way. Let's say that they are coming from the Shenandoah, from the farmers, right? So you come in the middle of the way, you say, okay, I'll take care of it. You, the one here, say, I will take care of it. I will buy it. You say that you have how many trucks? You say, I have 2. How much do you want to profit? Because they want to profit from them. Let's suppose that they would say, okay, we would expect that we will return back with $3,000. For each truck, 3,000. Very good. طيب, I will take it from you. Take $3,000 now. But I will take it. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited us from doing that. Why?
He's going to, just like your example of the urban, he's going to take the prices.
أي نعم. Now the seller, what's going to happen if he comes? The seller. Do you think that this farmer is going to stay the whole day? لا. He wants his commodity fresh to be sold. So then he will get whatever profit. He wants the profit. He will pay the cash, the workers, those Hispanics, and he will be back. That's what he's looking for, right? That's why you know those Hispanics, if they are deported, it will have deflation. You will have a huge deflation because there will be a shortage of laborers. I mean, in Florida, who's picking all of this stuff? Florida, Texas. When I was in Texas, ya Ikhwani, it's all over. You pay them by hour, and they are illegal. They are here illegal, but they're working. They are working. They are benefiting the economy. يعني مثلا, if you have a farm, you want to have a stable for your horses and stuff. Who's going to build it for you? It's their job. They will come to do it. For how much? For an hour, $10. They do it very, very good. So those farmers, they're going to be harmed when those people leave. So what's going now? This man. He wants to pay for the gas and to pay for the workers. He will have $2,000. He will live very comfortably. I mean, what he has to do there in the farm? He has nothing to do. $2,000 is even more than enough. He has nothing to do. He will save. He will play with $1,000, and 1,000 is going to be safe because he has nothing to do. Not a lot of things to do. He does not have restaurants. He does not have giant supermarkets. Everything that he needs is in the farm. He even has a well in his water. So he has nothing to do except taxes. That's what he has to do. What I'm saying is that he will not wait that much to sell his commodities. He wants to sell them because otherwise he is gonna lose. What's he gonna do with all of this stuff, right? If you go and come to him in the way, give him the $3,000, bring them to the market, how much you're gonna sell for you? Yeah, other 3,000, other $3,000. So what's going to happen? The prices will go up. Or you can even, he says that I want to sell. You say, okay, I can get. He might not know how much he's gonna profit. He might profit $3,000, but you can give him $2,500, and he will be what? It's good. I'm in the middle of my way, and I get $2,500. Okay, take it. So now he is the one not profiting what he is supposed to profit. If he goes to the market, he might profit 3,000, 2,900, 3,000, 3,500, around this range. But now, if you take it from him, he might be a loser. and then you bring it to the market, you sell it for, you got a profit for, he was supposed to profit 3,000, now you're gonna profit 6,000. You see? فإذا you are harming the market in either way. ولهذا he صلى الله عليه وسلم says لا تلقوا الركبان دعوا الناس يرزق الله بعضهم ببعض. حديث جاء في صحيح مسلم. He says صلى الله عليه وسلم, don't go to a rukban, those who bring commodities to the market. Indeed, let people benefit from each other. يعني the one who brings it will get his profit, and the market also will benefit, people will get it for good price. ولهذا if that guy takes the commodity from him and then he goes to the market and now he will sell it for a higher prices, he will profit more than that person. يعني he will get the profit that it was supposed to be taken by the bringer. Then when the bringer, the supplier, when he comes to the market, he is given the choice. فهو بالخيار بعد أن يهبط بها الأسواق. حديث أبي هريرة في صحيح مسلم. He says صلى الله عليه وسلم that he's given the choice. When he comes to the market and he knows the difference, يعني مثلا that guy, he bought it from him again for 2,500. When he comes to the market, he noticed that he can profit $3,000 instead of him taking only 2,500. If he was in the market selling it himself, he could profit 3,000. Then we would say to them, one who take it from him, pay him how much? $500, because he was supposed to profit 3,000 and you only gave him 2,500. ولهذا له الخيار بعد أن يهبط بها الأسواق. هل هذا واضح؟ فالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذن prohibited us أن نتلقى السلع حتى يهبط بها الأسواق. Then he says رحمه الله that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said من اشترى طعاما فلا يبيعه حتى يستوفيه. That the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم says whomever buys food, طعام, let him not sell it. If you buy, you cannot sell it حتى يستوفيه. في بعض الألفاظ حتى يقبضه. حتى يقبضه, until he possesses it. Not only own it, you need to possess it. ثم قبض كل شيء بحسبه, يسمى القبض. Now, are you with us يا إخواني? Let's suppose that you buy grains, wheat, rice. The Prophet ﷺ said you cannot go on and sell it until you possess it. You need to possess it. يعني مثلا, let's suppose that I buy from Amir rice, and it is in his store. It's still in his store. I say okay. Then Mazen comes to me. He said that I want rice. I say okay. We will have a contract on the prices over there, even though that I haven't yet possessed them. And possessing them is either that Amir will open the store for me to get them, or that I take them with me. Then this is going to be considered what? Possession. Why is that, ya Ikhwani? Why is that? Because of what we call الضمان, insurance. Now, I bought it from Amir, a ton of rice, and it's still in his store. Then there was a fire. Everything was burned. Who is going to be responsible? Yani the loss on whom? Who's going to lose? Me? La. You. I haven't yet possessed it. It's still in your possession. Although I own it, but it's still in your possession. It means that it's still in your insurance. من ضمانك, in your responsibility. فهمت؟ طيب. ولهذا I can't profit from it. You see? لأن الخراج بالضمان. for me to profit, I need to insure. Since I don't insure it, I can't profit. For me to profit, I need to be responsible for it. If I'm not responsible for it, it means that I cannot profit. You can't win-win. You can't, يعني Sharia is so meticulous. For you to profit, you need for you to be responsible. That's why you can't lend people cross legs, waiting to profit no matter what. Sitting in your bank, lending everybody, profiting no matter what, whether that the business succeeds or doesn't succeed. Eventually, I will profit. No way you will do it in Islam. You would like to profit, you have to share a risk. You must share a risk. Al-kharaju bid-daman. If you want to profit, good, but you will have to have risk. But you want to profit sitting, لا, ما في هذا. So therefore, because it is not my responsibility, I cannot sell it. فإذا ownership and possession would bring about what? Responsibility, insurance. Ownership without possession would not bring about what? Responsibility. واضح؟ ولهذا he said من اشترى طعاما فلا يبيعه حتى يستوفيه. If you buy food, now he is specifically talking about food. He says صلى الله عليه وسلم, let him not sell it until he possesses it. وقبض كل شيء بحسبه. Now look, المذهب عندنا, look, this issue is by unanimous agreement. There is no disagreement whatsoever amongst the ulama. حكى الإجماع على ذلك غير واحد. موفق الدين, أبو بكر بن المنذر before him, موفق الدين بن قدامة, أبو محمد بن حزم, and so on and so forth. This is by unanimous agreement. Very clear statements. This is حديث مالك, حنافة بن عمر, حديث عبد الله بن عباس, حديث جابر, حديث very well known ruling يعني in Islam. Any scholar who's, any students of knowledge who smelled يعني knowledge, he knows that this is haram. لا يجوز لك أن تبيع شيئا حتى تقبضه من الطعام. المذهب عندنا, they say that this is only for food. It's only for food. What they are talking about, they're saying that for food, if it, look, how do we measure things? We measure things by 4 methods. إما بالكيل, وإما بالوزن, وإما بالذرع, وإما بالعد. How we measure things? By كيل. كيل يعني الكيل by knowing their mass, يعني how heavy they are. Size, by knowing how big they are. Or by وزن. الوزن is about نعم weight, how heavy they are. الكيل في الحجم, والوزن في الثقل, how heavy they are. Or we measure things by بالذرع, by measuring their distance. بالذرع, ذرع يعني the distance, مثلا the land, the house, يعني you say this is 4 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 100 kilometers, 300, like this. يسمى الذرع. Or fourthly, we measure it by العد. 3 pence, 600 cars. So if we want to know them, if we want to measure things, either by counting things, or by knowing their distances, or by knowing their heaviness, or by knowing their size. Is there any other way? No. هكذا نحن. No way to measure things without these 4 things. واضح؟ المذهب عندنا يقولون food that must be possessed. Food. Now, if you want to sell food, how to sell it? If you want to sell watermelon, how to sell it? بالعد. Right? بالعد. If you want to sell grape, How do you sell a grape? Hmm?
Size.
Hmm?
Size.
Yeah, by size. Or you even count it, or you even sell it by weight. Right? إما بالوزن وإما بالكيل sometimes. طيب. How do you sell wheat? Hmm? By weight, بالوزن. How do you sell meat? This is a unit, but it's a unit of what? A unit of weight. So you sell it by weight, يعني by how heavy it is. طيب. So therefore المذهب عندنا they say that قبض الطعام, if it is weighed, قبضه بوات بوزنه. You need to weigh it. If you weigh it, هذا هو قبضه. Now you have possessed it. قبضه, if it is if it is about the size, قبضه بكيله. By يعني if you like to know how big it is, if you measure it by how big it is, you have possessed it. If it is counted, you possess it by counting it. يعني مثلا I buy from you 3 watermelon. How do I possess them? By counting them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I put them in the bag مثلا or in a box. This is how I possess them. هل هذا واضح؟ So then قبض كل شيء what in accordance with it بحسبه. So not everything has the same possession. فالمكيل قبضه how بكيله. الموزون قبضه بوزنه. المعدود قبضه by what? بعده. By counting it. Clear يا إخواني or not? So possession of everything هذه القاعدة. هذه قاعدة من قواعد أبواب البيوع. أن قبض كل شيء بحسبه. That the possession of everything is in according to it. So therefore يعني what does that mean? المعدود يعد. المعدود بعده. المكيل بكيله. الموزون بوزنه. وهكذا. Yes.
So, based on the example of the rice being this store, as long as you know what the weight is, it's considered.
If I لا he needs to let me, or I need him to let me weigh it, or able to weigh it. أن يخلي بيني وبينه. This is how it is going to be possessed. Not only owned, but also possessed. That is possessed by the new owner. واضح؟ طيب, let's finish this issue. طيب, what about other than food? يعني any other commodity, cars, cell phones, laptops, carpets, whatever. Do we still consider it to be conditional for the validity of the contract, for the insurance to happen, is that they are going to be possessed, or it's not, or it's only for food? المذهب عندنا, they say that it's only for food, but for a car, no need. I don't need to possess it. I can sell a car even if, as long as I own it, I can sell it. يعني مثلا, again, I bought from Amir, because you are in front of me, that's why I have a lot of examples. I bought from Amir a car, and it's still in his house. I can sell it. واضح? I bought it from him. I can go to, what's your name? Mahmoud. I can go to Mahmoud and sell it to him, even though that I haven't yet possessed it. واضح؟ هذا الذي يقوله الأصحاب، والصحيح أن القبض شرط في كل مبيع. However, قبض كل شيء بحسبه. يعني the preponderant opinion, just to save time, that possession of a commodity is a condition for me to sell, as long whether that it is food or other than food. However, we say that the possession of everything is in accordance with what? بحسبه. يعني with its way, with that which befits that commodity. So for example, the car. How do I need to possess it? If he gives me the title, even if it's in his house. So if there is a fire, if it's stolen, who is going to lose? Me. But if he does not give me the title, him. Clear? يعني مثلا let's suppose that I buy it from him for مثلا $30,000. Then there was a fire and it's still in his house and I don't have the title. Who is going to lose? Him. So if I paid him 30,000, he must return it to me. But if he gives me the title and still in his house, then there was a fire, who is going to lose the 30,000? Me. واضح؟ فقبض كل شيء بحسبه. An airplane مثلا we have a lot of issues عندنا في المحاكم, a lot of disputes, big corporations, they come to fight. في المحاكم التجارية عندنا full of the, ولهذا sometimes they take about 2 years, 3 years to finish. Big, you're talking about billions. Who possesses? Who is going to insure? And then you have a lot of contracts, and each contract about 2,000 pages. So before it comes to the judge, it goes to at least 3-4 committees. They will study it, study the terms, the conditions. Then they provide what? First of all, أصلا نحن, we try our best that they go to the arbiters, لجان الصلح, before they go, in order to reduce the amount of cases. But they don't want, يعني sometimes billions. We're talking about billions or millions, big things, not like not like you and your cell phone. You're talking about big amount. Sometimes it's they will go bankrupt because of the possession. Like now, and if you buy an airplane, then you have a heavy snow, then the company loses during that time. Who's going to be responsible? If you don't possess it, if what we consider an airplane is possessed by an airliner, then the responsibility is going to be of the one who made the airplane or the company that sold it, or so on and so forth, like Boeing, مثلا. For these disputes, you have a lot of disputes because you need to make sure that who possesses it. The house. And then, how do you possess the house? If I sold you a house, how do you possess it? When is it considered that it is your responsibility? إيه نعم إذا خليت بينك وبينه. For example, if I give you the keys, now you possess it. Even if I have keys, but you have keys, it means that whenever you want to go enter, you can enter. It's not my responsibility. I give you the keys today. Let's say that I gave you the keys today, early in the morning. Then there was a hurricane after Al-Asr. Then you come to the house. The following day, you don't find a house. Then you come to me and say, give me back my money. So I give you the keys. It's your responsibility. Well, I was far away. So what do you want me to do? It's your responsibility. Because you are considered, shar'an, jurisprudentially, you're considered what? Possessing the commodity. You're possessing the property. فإذا قبض كل شيء بحسبه. The possession of everything is as it befits it. السيارات الآن هذا السيارات, cars, especially for what we call الوكالات. You know وكالة. Now if you have مثلا Hyundai here, Hyundai is a نعم, it's a Korean or نعم, Korean company. It has what we call agencies, this dealership, because the headquarters, the base is where? In Korea. And they, in multiple countries, they have these dealerships. We call them wakalat. Right? هذا الوكيل, the American guy here, sitting here, they brought, let's say that, from the port, they will bring him, let's say 500 cars, 500 Hyundais, whatever type of cars, whatever model, they will take. Let's say that while they were in the shipment, in the ship, before the shipment, before the cargo comes, the ship, drowned. Who is responsible? We say that we know. If they give them what we call البطاقة الجمركية, if the agency, the dealership here, the American guy, he has what we call the customary card for the car, then this is considered to be what? Possession. تملكها بتملك البطاقة الجمركية. قبضها بقبض البطاقة الجمركية. So who is going to be responsible? The Korean guy over there or the American here? The American. But if they agreed that, well, I won't get the customary card until it arrives in the port, then it's going to be checked. Now it's mine. Then we say, if it's drawn, then the Korean guy there, they will lose it, because they haven't yet possessed it. إذن قبض كل شيء بحسبه. هل هذا واضح إن شاء الله? Is that clear? طيب نقف على هذا, and we will continue إن شاء الله in the following session بعون الله وتيسيره, which is an important bab هذا, because we're going to talk about the bab of الربا, the usury chapter, the chapter of usury. This is very important. طيب, we have questions here. It says, for sale of outbidding your brother, can the second contract be rectified, or is it always nullified? لا, it's always nullified. You need to redo it again. You need to redo it again. He says, what's the casual effect of prohibiting brokerage for Bedouins? Like what we just said, because if you broker for them, then the Bedouin, then you're going to raise the prices, because he will sell by whatever. He wants to profit, while the one who's brokering for a commodity that the market demands, then what's going to happen? The prices will go up. So then it's going to be harmful for who? For the market, because it's going to harm people. But Sharia, in as much as it guards, it protects the individual freedom and the incentive to profit. First of all, ownership and profiting. We are all incentivized. Allah يقول وإنه لحب الخير لشديد ويقول وتحبون المال حبا جما. We are naturally incentivized. We love money. Allah يقول زين للناس حب الشهوات من النساء والبنين والقناطير المقنطرة من الذهب والفضة. قال الله تعالى المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا. So people love money. You don't need to teach people to love money. People love money naturally. You don't need to teach people to love women. This is natural. If they don't, it means that they have problem. So then this is natural. You love money. Even kids without even teaching them, they say the first thing that if you give them something, حقي, right? Mine. You see, kids, natural thing. We have the thing that we like to possess, and we like to profit. If this thing will bring me more, we love more. The Prophet ﷺ said, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يملأ جوف ابن آدم إلا التراب. He says صلى الله عليه وسلم لو كان لابن آدم واديان من ذهب لابتغاه ثالثا. He says صلى الله عليه وسلم if the son of Adam is given two valleys of gold, he wants one more. ولا يملأ جوف ابن آدم إلا التراب. Nothing is going to fill up his stomach except dirt, soil. What does that mean? He dies until he dies. ولهذا جاء في الحديث من همان لا يشبعان طالب علم وطالب مال. Two people are eager that they won't be filled up, يعني filled up. Never. A seeker of knowledge and a seeker of money. They will continue. فإذا we don't need to be taught to love money. We naturally love money. وتحبون المال حبا جما وإنه لحب الخير لشديد. So then, Islamically, we don't go against this nature like socialism, communism. They attack your natural disposition, which is that you like to possess, you like to profit. No, communism say no. Everybody we will utopia. They live in their utopia. Everybody will own the same. We're gonna be equal, so that nobody is going to exploit us. All of this garbage. That's never going to happen. It's very bad system. Very, very bad system. And if you speak this way, you say that you are manipulating the masses. You are against the workers. You hate the workers. You are the bourgeoisie. أنت من الطبقة البرجوازية. أنت تعادي هكذا. Those Marxists, the horrible people. Stupid and horrible. With that, I don't never look. In economy, there is nothing as bad as Marxism. And in biology, there is nothing as bad as Darwinism and evolution. They are big jokes, big rubbish things. They don't match reality. Very bad, very bad. In Islam, we don't attack your natural disposition. Because what's the meaning of socialism? The traditional definition of socialism is that it's the state's ownership of the sources of production. Why is it the state? Why isn't the individual? We own what we want. But ولهذا Islam does not go against your natural disposition. You'd like to own, and you like to profit. We don't need to put a lot of incentives for you to profit. دعوا الناس يرزق الله من بعضهم بعض. The Prophet ﷺ said, leave people, they will sustain each other. Do I need to teach you that if you sell for 500, you will profit 900? Do you think that people say, no? Huh? No, we are naturally born this way. If I say to you that you're going to own this palace, but you need just to work for one day, what do you think? They will work. We love to own. This is what Allah Ta'ala created us with. نحن نحب الامتلاك التملك. نحب الامتلاك ليس التملك. التملك يعني that we control. لكن نحب الامتلاك. We love. ولهذا what's the American dream? The American dream they call it. What? To own a house. To own. You own your house. This is your big dream. واضح? Islamically we don't oppose that, but we regulate it. طيب. So then one of the things that we regulate is to make sure that the market functions effectively, naturally. What this guy Adam Smith, he called it the hidden hand. ولهذا the mechanisms of the market, if we let the market completely free, there is no monopoly, no deception, no cheating, which is very idealistic. But if we, as much as you leave the market less regulated, then you will have a better economy. No doubt about this. دعوا الناس يرزق الله بعضهم من بعض. ولهذا now the urbanite is prohibited from taking from the Bedouin in order to make the market functions naturally. Let's the market, يعني don't interfere in the market, because if you go to the market taken from the Bedouin, you're going to interfere with the market. Now you're going to wait for the prices to go up. That's why you affected the market. ولهذا, as Ali radiallahu anhu says, that always if you see poverty, you know that it's the surplus is in the bellies of the rich. There is something affecting the market. لكن الله تعالى خلقنا وخلق معنا أرزاقنا. We have more than enough. Not we survive. It's not the problem of survival. We have more than enough. The resources on earth, not only enough, it's more than enough. But we have problems. There are no economic systems that are good for not only production, like capitalism. Capitalism focuses heavily on what? On production. Yani how to produce. But it does not focus on redistribution. How this wealth that is produced, redistributed. It does not give solutions for that. It does not know how to do it. لكن بحمد الله في الإسلام, it's systemizing, producing moderately, and also systemizing redistribution, that this wealth is going to be redistributed fairly and justly and legitimately. طيب, he says, is بيع التقسيط a form of بيعتين؟ لا, بيع التقسيط يا إخواني, it means that I say to you, I will sell you this car for $50,000 if you pay it now. If you pay it now, you're going to get it for $50,000. However, if you are going to pay, if you're going to pay me in a year, into installments, we call it, taqseet, installments. There is a difference between selling you now and selling you in a year. So, okay, there's no problem, but instead of paying me $50,000, you're going to pay me $60,000, $65,000. Do you agree? Yes, there's no problem. And we're going to, you will have a down payment, تسمى الدفعة الأولى, and then you will have دفعات, installments. There's no problem with that. As long as we agree from the beginning, you don't say to him that if you don't pay me on time, it's going to be 60,000. هذا ربا. But if you say to him, since you won't now buy it for 50,000, okay, we will have a contract that you're going to pay me 60,000 divided on the year into installments. هذا لا حرج فيه. بيع التقسيط يجوز. Says, is the prohibition of purchasing a commodity before it comes to the market specific to wholesale purchases, or does it also include purchasing a few items? Both. As long as it is going to be brought to the market, you need to let the market functions naturally. That's the concern. Let the market function naturally. We don't interfere. ولهذا they divide, the most healthy economists, that they divide it into by noticing two factors: competition and free in entering and free exiting. The best economy for them, the best market for them, is that you are free to enter, you are free to exit, and you have full competition. They call it full competition. What is full competition? That there is no interference in the market whatsoever. واضح? This is called what? The best form of free market. Anybody who can enter the market, anybody who can exit the market. No regulations on entering the market, no regulations on exiting the market. And you have full competition. What do you mean full competition? That you can show your commodity or service in the same way as everybody else who has the same commodity. This is called what? Full competition. Then you have the opposite, this dysfunctional market, which is no competition or lower competition, and that there is no freedom. Yani you don't enter whenever you want, you don't exit whenever you want. This is the worst market. Then you have market with full competition, but it's what? Not everybody can enter. Okay? We put a lot of regulations for those people to enter. In order for you to enter the market, you need to have such and such amount of investments. For example, now you don't have a completely free market. Although that you have full competition. Or sometimes it's the other way, that you can enter whenever you want, you can exit whenever you want, but you don't have competition. This is the case where you have monopoly. Okay, like merging company after merging, that they just keep merging, and you think you're coming with your business, you think that you're gonna sell with your falafel something. Nobody is going to buy from you. Why? Because you have big, Moby Dean, I think they call it. Moby Dean? Huh? What?
The place?
نعم. What would you call it? Okay, Moby Duck. The Moby Duck is now getting a lot of customers. You need a lot of competition. So you can you can enter, but soon you're gonna, exit. Because you can't compete. It's almost monopoly. You can't compete. But these are the things that we need to make sure that the economy functions what naturally. ولهذا look at Rahman ibn Auf رضي الله عنه. When he came to Medina, the Prophet ﷺ assigned for him as a brother Sa'd ibn Rabi' رضي الله عنه, and he was killed, by the way, in the battle of Uhud. He said to him, Sa'd ibn Rabi', he said, look, I have two wives. I will divorce one and you can marry. Definitely, if she agrees. And the second thing, he said that I am so rich, I will concede half of my wealth for you. He said to him, بارك الله لك في مالك وأهلك. May Allah bless your wealth and your wives. وأهلك. Where is the market? That's what he said. He said, where is the market? I want to go to the market. He went to the market. Then just in a while, the Prophet ﷺ saw him dressing well, smelling very good. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, what's going on? MashaAllah, you just fled from Mecca. You're like a refugee. What's going on? He said, radiallahu anh, I went to the market. Then he, radiallahu anh, he said that I married. MashaAllah. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to him, how much did you pay? What was the mahar? He wants sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to know how. He said, radiallahu anh, أصدقتها وزن نواة من ذهب. From gold. He, radiallahu anh, get rich to the extent that he not only he married with a high mahar. وزن نواة من ذهب. فقال له صلى الله عليه وسلم بارك الله لك. Did you make walima? Because you seem, mashallah, you're good. Did you make walima? He said, no. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أولم ولو بشاة. Make walima even if it's just sheep. ولهذا نحن على المذهب الوليمة لا تجزئ بأقل من الشاة. اختارها والصحيح أنها تجزئ بأقل من الشاة. لأنه صلى الله عليه وسلم أولم على صفية بسويق. بسطت له الأنطار. It's enough. المهم, the thing is that he said رضي الله عنه, where is the market? Do you know when Abdurrahman ibn Auf died? What did he leave behind? هذا من المبشرين من 10 المبشرين بالجنة. Do you know what he left behind? Just the gold, let alone the properties. فقط cash, what he left as cash. They used to take axes to break it, of gold. This is just gold, cash.
Okay, يعني assets, the bank account, the properties, like farms, animals, يعني all these. This is a loan. رضي الله عنه وأرضاه. But the differences between a Sahaba and anybody except those who are like them is that dunya is where? In their hands. They control the dunya. It does not control them. ولهذا, how do you know that? When dunya goes against al-akhirah, they drop the dunya. They don't go with the dunya. So if they control ad-dunya, it does not control them. But some of them, they were rich. Not only rich, very rich. In our language today, we would call them billionaires. They were billionaires. And they benefited Islam, radiallahu anhu. Like, when was it said to Uthman, radiallahu anhu? When was it said to him, ما ضر عثمان ما فعل بعد اليوم? Nothing is going to harm Uthman after this day. When? Is it because he radiallahu anhu used to stay up the night praying, that he fought with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He did very good, very great deeds. But it's only because in the army of what we call the army of destitution, okay, which was for the 9th year, going to the battle of Tabuk. It's called Jaysh al-Usra. The Prophet ﷺ didn't have enough supplies for the army, and he's gonna go and fight the Byzantines, big army. It's too hot. It was in August, waiting for the fruits now to come. The distance is long, and the army is too big. And the Prophet ﷺ once said, he ascended the member, and he said, who is going to donate? We need donation, we need support. Then Uthman said, oh Rasulullah, 300 she camels. Like, suppose that you say 300 burrites, like in our standard now. 300 shipments, ships, or 300 what do you call the اللي هي المدرعات والدبابات, what do you call it? Tanks. You say 300 بأحلاسها وأقتابها, fully prepared, you just tried. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, who is going to give more? He said, me or Rasulullah? Take another 300. 300, ya akhwani, 300. You're preparing an entire army. Then he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is going to give more? He said, oh Rasulullah, get also 300. Radiallahu anhu ardah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam face was shining, يتهلل وجهه. Then he said, ما ضر عثمان ما فعل بعد اليوم. Nothing is going to harm Uthman after this day. It was because of what? He was rich. Because of money. It was said this to him. ولهذا the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, إنما الدنيا لأربعة نفر. الدنيا هذا حديث بكبشة عند أحمد وغيره. He says صلى الله عليه وسلم, indeed, this dunya is given to 4 people. It's divided into 4 types of people. The first one, he says صلى الله عليه وسلم, that رجل, that he's a man, rich and knowledgeable. He's rich and knowledgeable. The likes of Uthman, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, those people. He said that he has money, يعرف لله في حقه. He knows how to use it. He has a lot of money and he knows how to use it. يعرف لله في حقه ويصل فيه رحمه, and he is going to be good for his kinship. ويعرف لله في حقه. He says صلى الله عليه وسلم, فهذا بيعلى منازل. This is the one on top. Money and knowledge. What do you want more? Money, he has a lot of money, and he is knowledgeable. That's why his money is where? Where is it spent? في سبيل الله. حلق تحفيظ القرآن, رعاية الدعاء, مواقع إلكترونية, قنوات فضائية. Spreading Islam, spreading good. يكفى الأيتام, sponsoring orphans, sponsoring مثلا widows. He's rich. Spending it in these. Then another person, he says, he has knowledge, but he does not have money. He says that I wish I have the same as this, so that I will do the same. He says, فَهُوَ بِنِيَّتِهِ فَهُمَا فِي الْأَجْرِ سَوَاء. That this person, they are equal in terms of the intention. So therefore, that they will have the same reward. Then another person, he says sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he has a lot of money but he has no knowledge. What does the guy is going to do? يعني basically he's going to squander it. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم فولا يعرف الله في حقه ولا يصل به رحم. That he squandered it. He's actually going to spend it in the wrong way, in the haram way. And then he صلى الله عليه وسلم said ورجل, that he has no knowledge nor he has money. He says, I wish I have the same يعني as the third one, so that I will do as what he does. He says صلى الله عليه وسلم فهذا بأخبث المنازل. So he is poor and his intention is bad. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, this is in the lowest part. نعوذ بالله. فالمهم إذا أن that this is the best. If you have money and knowledge, righteousness, this is the best bounties of Allah Azza wa Jal. ولهذا, and we're going to finish with this, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was once approached by the poor Sahaba, by the poor companions. They came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said, "Oh Rasulullah, ذهب أهل الدثور بالأجور." Said that, "Oh Rasulullah, the rich amongst us, they took all the rewards." He said, "وما ذاك?" Why? He said, they pray as we pray. يصلون كما نصلي. They fast as we fast. They said, ويتصدقون بفضول أموالهم. But now they can donate, they can do charities, while we cannot. He says sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that do you want me to tell you about things that if you do, you're gonna be the same as them, and you're gonna catch them, and you're gonna raise up those who don't do what you do? He said, yes, O Rasulullah. He said that when you finish a prayer, you say Subhanallah 33 times, Allahu Akbar 33 times, wa la ilaha illallah 33 times. They said, okay. They went on and did it. Then in a while, they returned to the Prophet ﷺ, the poor. They said, "O Rasulullah, our brothers, the rich, they knew about what you told us. Now they are doing the same as we do. So they have raised up again. We can't catch them." The Prophet ﷺ said, ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ. في الصحيحين hadith. He said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that this is the bounty of Allah. He gives whomever he wants. And he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam admitted that they are better. They are better. This is the bounty of Allah. Because indeed, they do the same while they have money, you don't. The bounty of Allah. Some of the ulama, they say that this hadith is one of the best hadith for motivation of being rich. Because you can't compete. You can't compete. فنسأله تعالى أن يغنينا وإياكم بحلاله عن حرامه وأن يلهمنا رشدنا ويعيذنا من شرور أنفسنا إنه جواد كريم. والله أعلم وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. We are too late. وفقكم الله ويسر لكم أموركم.